Hello, my darlings. How are you all? I hope you're well. So, I have finally bitten the bullet and decided to upload a video because I understand that many of you have been missing the glorious sound of my voice, and I decided to share with you for the next, 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what I've got to say. So, my life in Japan at the moment is pretty much settled in now. Nothing too shocking, really, apart from the occasional mishap on what I think I've bought. You think it's a curry bun, but it turns out it's not, and you get kind of shocked, but you get over it real quick. Generally speaking, things are pretty breezy now. It's settled into pretty firm routine. It's the third trimester right now. I arrived at the start of the second one. So now all of the third year students are more or less no longer at school. They all go off and do their own private study, or most of the time they come into school anyway because there's the library and their friends, so they're able to at least have a little bit of socialising in amongst the mountains of stress. Basically think of it as like final exams, but worse, because your entire future hinges on a single exam result. Yay! So basically my normal classes now, I think I had about 12 classes, has now dropped down to like 8, which, considering most days are 6 periods long, I now have a lot of free time, which is way less interesting than you'd think. You're like, oh, so much free time. But the thing is, with said free time, there's not a whole lot you're allowed to do. I'm personally in the process of trying to butter up the home ec teachers so I can get a hold of the overlocker and make myself some cute clothes and just generally enjoy myself. But you can't really crack out any of the hobbies at the desk or anything like that. I've been able to read a lot, been able to research a lot, and just generally muck about. A lot of Jets tend to do things like their masters or grad dips over here because you have got a lot of free time, plenty to do research, more or less unlimited access to the internet, and you can get a lot of stuff done. So writing, a massive essay isn't actually that difficult. So I'm personally considering doing my master's in history, but we'll have to see how that goes, because the determined to do something productive part of Rachel struggles greatly with the do I have to be awake part of Rachel. So the battle continues. I'll let you know results in the future. More or less my classes are pretty breezy as well. I help with lesson planning, but there's 3 ALTs at my school, so between us all there's very little to actually do. I'll find research and conduct said lesson, more or less. I'm in charge, but kind of not. It's difficult to explain, really. Basically, there's 2 teachers in the classroom, or more, and we all just kind of muck about between ourselves and flesh out a whole lesson. It's the strangest thing, but it works. I am actually really lucky with my teachers. I've got a really good bunch that I work with. My school in particular has a really good English program, so they get some really good results. The kids are incredible and absolutely adorable as well. I love them all to death. The babies. So that's why I'm so sorry for the third years. They're all stressing. I'm like, don't fret. I love you. It's okay. But they will all manage because they're fantastic. A couple of them actually got into university already. The amazing good creatures that they are. But mostly now my focus is on my first years and second years. Bless them. And yeah, as I said, my classes are really quite straightforward. It's usually just some level of English activity, be it games or like have a conversation, that sort of stuff. So nothing, too difficult. That being said, having teaching experience, I think, really did help me there. I imagine a lot of Jets now, about 6 months in, are having a pretty breezy time, because, you finally got the gist of it. But I know for me, being able to hit the ground running really, really helped as far as general stress levels are concerned, my own faith in myself doing a good job of this and all that jazz. So, if you do feel like doing ALTing of any kind, having some kind of teaching experience, be it just like tutoring or anything like that, really makes a huge difference. It's also the middle of winter here, by the way. Well, not quite the middle, but it's damn close. Basically, it tends to top about 5 or 6 degrees most days, and it drops down to about -2 depending. It hasn't snowed yet though, which really pisses me off, because at least snow could justify the suffering I'm going through. So I've got my little Kero 3-bar heater on at the moment. Don't get me wrong, it's an absolute trooper, but I still do live in a tiny icebox, hence I'm still wearing my pug mittens. Yeah, that's right. I am that cool. You can bless my friend Ashley, the effervescent Sydney girl who lives in the apartment across from me, has more or less been a lifesaver for doing me a great favour in bequeathing said mittens to me. I love them so much, they're just amazing. So yeah, I do live in a tiny box. My apartment is big enough that I can't quite touch the walls by reaching apart, but it's really, really close. And it's about a foot longer than my bed, and my bed touches the window. So yeah, it's tiny, but I do have a little kitchen, a little bathroom, my little bedroom, rather big cupboard, which is nice, but not a whole lot of general space. So when people are like, "Can I visit?" I'm like, "Ha, where would you sit?" No, seriously, where would you sit? There's no space. So I tend to go to other people's houses. Yeah. But it is very cheap. Cost of living here is amazingly small compared to Brisbane, which is like, can we have your firstborn? It'll cover your power bill for the next 2 weeks. Maybe. So I very much enjoy that. Also, it's really quite easy to clean. I know, it's these things we realise when we're adults and independent. Apparently there's a mold killer brand here. I can't pronounce it because it's all in kanji, but it's just amazing. Yes, this is my life now. Mold killer. That being said, though, the weekends are fantastic here. I personally am about to go to Osaka for a fantastic night out, and drag home in the morning, which will be just, glorious. With a whole bunch of other Jets that live here. That's the thing, the Jet community really does do a good job of supporting each other. So long as you're close enough to a train line that you can get somewhere, you will have friends here. And we do all hang out because we have no one else to hang out with. And you will still also meet a lot of really cool people. Like, I've got a fantastic group of friends here that really help keep all of the negative emotions that you tend to feel when you're far away from home at bay. So I really enjoy that. But I'm pretty much going to wrap it up for now, and I hope to talk to you again soon, my darling. Oh, I do love you dearly.